You may ask yourself, how hard can this be? But currently, there is no straightforward line tool in Photoshop like there is in Illustrator. So, how are we going to draw a straight line? Here is the first technique, and for this we are going to use the brush tool. Now, as you can see here, I have a dot grid. If we look across here to the right in the layers panel, this is just a layer which I can toggle the visibility of if I choose, and this is just going to be my guide to help me compose my lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and select the brush tool. I'm going to come over to my menu and select the brush tool, or I could just press B on the keyboard, and I'm going to start by creating a new layer. I'm going to press Command Shift N on the keyboard, and I'm going to call this line example 1. Okay, so we've got our brush tool selected, and if we look in the top left, we can see the size of the brush. But I'm going to come to Window and just pull up my brushes panel here so I can see it a bit more clearly. And at the moment, we have a size 30 brush, and if I just draw on the canvas here, we can see that it's actually a feathered brush. Now, I don't want that right now, so I'm just going to press Command Z to undo that, and I'm going to choose a solid brush, and I'm going to change the size to about 10. Okay, so if I draw my canvas, we can see that that's a better line. Again, I'm going to press Command Z to undo that. So now we are ready to draw a straight line. Now the next step is very important. Remember to press and hold Shift on the keyboard. This is important because holding Shift, this will allow us to click around the canvas, and in doing so, guarantee that we will draw straight lines. So let's do this. So I'm going to come up to the top left and choose my starting point, which is going to be this top dot here in the top left hand corner. And I'm going to press and hold Shift on the keyboard, remember that. And I'm just going to click once, like so. And I'm still holding Shift, and you can see that we've just selected a starting point. And holding Shift again, I'm going to move my mouse cursor over to the top right and choose my end point and just click again. And there it is. There is a straight line. If I press V on the keyboard, I'll be able to move this around. Just going to press Control Z. So basically, by holding Shift, you can select your starting point and select your end point, and it'll generate a straight line. Let's try that again. So I'm going to press a B to pull up my brush tool. I'm going to come over and select a starting point, and I'm going to press and hold Shift. So let's click on that second dot underneath. Click once and holding Shift. Let's try clicking on the line row below. Click again, and there we have a nice straight line. And finally, I'm just going to draw one last line. So I'm going to select my starting point. I'm pressing and holding Shift. I'm just going to click once, and we can see that if we keep holding down Shift, we can just continuously draw around the canvas and draw some straight lines. It's really quite simple. So that's how you draw straight lines with the brush tool. Another option is to use the pen tool. Okay, so first let's come over to the menu and select our pen tool. So let's come over and select the pen tool, or you could simply press P on the keyboard to pull that up. And before we start to draw, I'm going to create a new layer. So Command Shift N, and I'm going to call this line example 2. And like earlier, I'm going to start to draw my line, and first select a starting point. So let's come down here, and again press and hold Shift. I'm going to click once, and by holding Shift I will be able to draw straight lines. But using the pen tool, if you hold down Shift, you will be able to draw exact straight lines, and you'll see that the lines will snap to straight. If I want to draw a line at an angle, by holding down Shift, I could draw a line. You can see that it generates a line at 45 degrees. And we're going to continue to click around the canvas here. Now, if I want to create an angle line a bit more subtle, I can just take my finger off Shift and I can click like so. But if I want to continue to draw straight lines, I'll just press and hold Shift again and continue to click around the canvas. So once you are happy with your line and your path, it is now time to turn that path into a line. So, like earlier, we are going to check our brush size. So by pressing B on the keyboard, we will pull up our brush and come back to our brushes panel. This time, I'm going to change the brush to size 20. And I'm going to change the color from black to, let's go for a red in this case. So now we've prepared our brush. We have a solid brush, size 20, and a color red. So I'm going to come back to my pen tool by pressing P on the keyboard, and I'm going to move my mouse cursor over my new path, and you'll see the cursor change to a plus. On this occasion, we are going to right click, and we're going to come down and select Stroke Path. Now, you'll get a panel that comes up, and it's going to ask you the tool you wish to apply the stroke with. So let's drop that down. You can see you have a whole load of options you can select, but on this occasion, we are going to choose the brush, and I'm going to click OK, and there you have it. You can see that that path has been converted to a stroke. If I press Enter, we will remove the path line, and if I press V, we will be able to move that line around. And that's how you can create straight lines in Photoshop. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope it helps. So have fun, guys, and I'll see you next time.